What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Marks, and of course this is the Gary Speed derby, Newcastle United versus Leeds United at St James's Park this coming Friday. And of course, talking about Gary Speed, he would have been 52 years old last Wednesday, the 8th of September, and of course in honour of that, Newcastle United fans and Leeds United fans will be doing a tribute on the 11th minute for Gary Speed around St James's Park, applauding the late, great Gary Speed for all that he did in football and, of course, in life as well. Moving on from that, we'll talk about, of course, the game against Leeds United, looking at, of course, the Leeds team first, and then we'll talk about the Newcastle team going into the game. Now, Leeds are going to be without Pascal Strutt, who is suspended. He did try to appeal his suspension after, of course, that game against Liverpool where they lost 3-0 in a home defeat to Liverpool. He did try to appeal his suspension, but it hasn't worked, and he will be, of course, suspended for our game against them at St James's Park. Fellow defenders as well, Diego Llorente and, of course, Robin Koch are doubtful for the game as well. Now, Leeds are sort of in a similar situation to us, with them having one extra point over what we've got, with them, of course, taking 2 points from a possible 12, whilst we've only took 1 point from a possible 12. So far this season, they have a 2-2 draw against Everton in a home draw, and then a 1-1 stalemate against Burnley. Of course, on the opening day of the season, they lost 5-1 at Old Trafford to Man United. And of course, if you look at our season so far, like I say, we've taken 1 point from possible 12. We've exited out the League Cup very early at the first time of asking against Burnley. And of course, we are looking to try and get our season back on track, as is Leeds United, I'm sure, as well. This is going to be an 8 o'clock kickoff, and it's going to be live on Sky Sports as well. Looking at Newcastle's team for the game, Caldolo looks set to replace Freddie Woodman in goal. Now, I could see that coming, to be honest, and, you know, I don't really think it's anything to do with the fact that, you know, Freddie Woodman has been in goal and we've been losing the games. I wouldn't put it down to that. I think it's just more along the lines of, you know, Steve Bruce has seen how Caldolo did last season in goal, and he's thinking maybe, you know, I'll put him in this time instead of Freddie Woodman, you know, and maybe it'll change with fate. Maybe that's what he's thinking. Maybe, you know, I'm reading a bit too much into it, but I wouldn't blame the results neither, to be honest, on the likes of Freddie Woodman being in goal, because, to be honest, you know, you can't really blame him for many of the results. Yes, you could maybe blame him a little bit for, you know, the goal against from Man United, which seen Ronaldo open the scoring for Man U. But, you know, if you're going to blame him for that, then you might as well blame a bunch of other goalkeepers, you know, for results as well, because that happens to goalkeepers all the time, and I mentioned that in the review as well of the Man United game, that happens to goalkeepers all the time, so you can't really blame them for something like that. John Joe Shelby looks like he's going to be out for the remainder and for quite a while as well. Martin Dubravka looks like he's still going to be out quite a while. Callum Wilson, meanwhile, was deemed weeks away before the Man United game, but now Bruce has presumably said that he won't be playing. The sick list after the Man United game increased as well, with the likes of Joe Willock being added to that sick list, Kieran Clark being added to the sick list, Javi Manquillo also being added to the sick list with assorted knocks. So, you know, it just isn't looking good at the minute for us Newcastle United fans. It's just one bad thing after another. Paul Dummett's fitness as well as unclear after it seemed that he was close to returning last month, but now it looks like he's further away again. And of course, Ryan Fraser may return for the game, but I don't know if he's going to play or not in it, to be honest. And if we look at the past 5 times we've played Leeds United at Newcastle, St James's, and of course the past 5 results have been 2 wins, 2 draws and a loss. The most recent one, of course, being a 2-1 loss last season with Almiron scoring the goal. The most recent win was a 2-0 win in the League Cup back in the 13-14 season. And for a Premier League win, you have to go all the way back to 2003-2004 for a 1-0 Newcastle United win with Alan Shearer scoring the goals. God, would I die to have Alan Shearer playing for Newcastle these days. Even more so now that Callum Wilson looks like he's going to be out for quite a while as well. You know, we're now only having the likes of Joe Linton and Dwight Gale to back up the team up top. The referee for the game is going to be Mike Dean. It's the first Magpies posting for the Tranmere Rovers devotee, last spotted handling a 1-0 home defeat by Arsenal in May. That included a red card for Fabian Shaw. That was, of course, the first game in 6 that Dean had taken charge that we'd lost. Jared Gillette as well is going to be on board, provider of provincial decisions during our visit to Aston Villa, most notably a penalty awarded for the Villains and the denial of a spot kick for, of course, ourselves due to a dubious offside call. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. For me, you know, this is probably the best chance for we to get some points on the board. It's going to be a tough game, obviously, because Leeds United are going to want to win as well, with them only having 1 point more than us. And, of course, both teams want to get away from this dreaded relegation zone and start the season off in a good light and hopefully start building points as well. And you know, I'd really love to see we come away from this one with 3 points in the bag, but we'll have to see how it goes, you know, with all them players mentioned possibly not going to feature in the game as well. It's just not looking good at the moment and we've got to hopefully get some light at the end of the tunnel eventually. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, remember, like, share, subscribe to 100% Mags. And, of course, I'm on the road to 600 subscribers. So if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely amazing. Only takes a second. And the subscribe button's just down here. Till next time, I'll see you all later. And however, lads.